Welcome to your journey of scientific literature and writing. In 30 minutes, you will understand your undergraduate research, from the initial conception of asking a question to the end of writing your paper. This workshop can help you with writing an honors capstone project, reading a scientific paper as an assignment for class, and building your skill before joining a graduate program. To make this workshop easily comprehensible and useful to students with different agendas, we have divided the workshop into two components. Number 1, to write a research paper, and number 2, to understand and read a research article for a class assignment. Before we start writing our research paper, we will first understand our research question, then conduct a literature search. We do this to help us better explain the significance of our research. Today we'll use PubMed and Google Scholar in our examples. In step 3, we strategically read the articles, and in step 4, we summarize the articles. Steps 3 and 4 are required for your research paper, but can also be very useful for any writing assignment in class. Once we complete steps 3 and 4, we choose either step 5 or step 6, depending on whether our writing task is to complete a research project or an assignment by a professor. Step 1. Writing a research question. Now let's get started. If you feel frustrated or confused when you first sit to write a research report, don't worry, you are not alone. To avoid this confusion, let's start with step 1, to understand your research question. It's advisable to talk to your research faculty mentor and select one research question before you begin. Typically, a research question answers 3 sub-questions: effect of what, on what, and in what population. For example, to study the effects of resistance exercise on heart rate in undergraduate students. Now let's try your skill in identifying appropriate words to answer the 3 sub-questions. Step 2. Conducting a literature review. Once we have our research question decided, we now conduct a literature review. A search of the literature is important as it helps to introduce our readers to the topic and its significance. With a defined question, we search to find papers that can support the information we write in our introduction. To summarize, we have understood our research question and the importance of a literature review to explain the importance of your question. Here's a different question. Can you answer the 3 sub-questions for this new question? Once you get the idea of identifying your keywords and what kind of literature you need to be looking for, the next step is to formulate your PICO. PICO stands for population, intervention, control, and outcome. Population is exactly how it sounds, who you are examining. Patient groups like stroke survivors, individuals with knee injury or healthy individuals, sedentary individuals, individuals who exercise, etc. Intervention may include a treatment or a procedure. Resistance exercise, treadmill training, aerobic exercise, medications, etc. Your control is not always present, but may be used to compare the effects of treatment. If there is more than one group of treatment, and the other group is the control. In simple words, they receive no treatment. Your outcome enlists all your measures, such as heart rate in the previous example. For your current research question, PICO will be... Let's take a quiz and find out. Step 3. Reading a research article. Once we have collected the articles, it's now time to read and analyze each of them. Any experimental article is divided into an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. It's necessary to ask different sets of questions in each section to get new information. This table provides a set of questions that can be used to read the article systematically. Answering each question can make you more confident with the information. Feel free to pause now and review the questions, but they will also be provided to you at the end of this video. These questions are a simplified version modified for undergraduate students, and questions might be more complex at a graduate level. Nevertheless, it serves your purpose. It is always important to make your own notes about the information that you read. This gains unbiased understanding about the article and helps to link the article to your coursework. What about review articles? Review articles are usually narratives divided into sections that are different from experimental articles. Review articles are summaries of several experimental papers that answer the same problem with different approaches. These questions will aid you in understanding review articles. Keep the handout we discussed before and try to answer each question. Step 4. Summarizing the article. Now that you have read your literature and answered the key questions, those answers can be used to summarize the article. Summarize the articles using the handout we provided and write a one-page summary. This forms the basis of any class assignment. Step 5. Writing a research paper. If you are writing your own research paper, make sure you have all of the following relevant information ready. This includes your literature summary, or the answered questions of your handout. The methods section, which provides information about your project, population, techniques, and data analysis. Your results include your statistical analysis. And finally, your discussion about those results, limitations, and conclusion of your study. Step 6. Writing a summary of an article. Now it's time for you to write a summary of an article. You can follow the headings: introduction, methods, results, discussion, conclusion, and importance. Or write a commentary without headings, but be sure to still explain the above points. It should be in your own words and not the author's. If you use direct quotes, make sure to note that for yourself so you don't accidentally plagiarize their work later. At the end, always explain the strong and weak points of the article and your interpretation about it. This information can be found in discussion sections of most papers, but it is better to have your own opinion as well to showcase your critical reading skills. Explain the relevance of the article to the coursework that you are learning in class. In writing your paper, consider these points. First, we want to make sure we avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying text and writing it in your paper without properly citing the author. It is a serious academic violation, and you can be dismissed from the institution. To avoid it, simply use your own words and reference as needed, although I caution you to limit the amount of direct quotes to 1 to 2, depending on the paper size. Read your own writing. Review your article and review it again after a few days so that you can read it with unbiased eyes. Avoid redundancy and make sure that your article reads like a story. In terms of grammatical rules, avoid spelling errors, and you also want to avoid ending sentences with prepositions. These are words like at or on, which can make a sentence feel unfinished. Avoid absolutes like always or never. They add unnecessary words and are harder to prove. And finally, feelings are for relationships, not papers. Avoid sentences that start with I feel or I believe, which are personal in nature. You are looking to write objectively. And there you have it. We have completed our crash course on scientific writing and reading. If you have other questions, come see us in ASAP and we will connect you to the right person. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you soon.